All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate everyone being here. Um, as the title says, my name is Jennifer Glaze. Good afternoon. And you are reaching me through a new segment with OTV Media called Becoming Your Best. Um, I want to talk briefly about the purpose of the show before I get into today's topic. So, as I mentioned previously, in the test show that we did a couple of weeks ago, I work as a mental health professional. I've been in the field for about 14 years. And over the time, I've learned a lot, I've seen a lot. But what has become, almost so aware, almost to a hurtful level, is how much stigma and misinformation hinders people from getting the basic mental health services that they need. That's going to be misinformation and stigma from the people who actually have a mental health diagnosis or a concern, as well as the general public. And when you think about that, that general public serves often as the support system to people who are in a mental health crisis or have mental health needs. So, what I've seen over the years is just that lack of understanding serves as a barrier for people to get what they need. And then it also serves as a barrier for society as a whole to make improvements around mental health. So, the purpose of the show today and the purpose of the creation of the show is that I want to create an informal forum, if you will, where we can chat about different things related to mental health, how that connects to physical health, how we all have a mental health status. We'll get into that shortly. And I want to just normalize conversations around mental health and mental health needs because I believe that it will help us on a community level, city level, state level, and society in general. I think if we can start having those conversations, then we all benefit. So this show will serve as my brief contribution, if you will, to trying to improve mental health condition and needs of people in general. So um, there are two things that I will ask of everyone who comes into the room, so to speak, to participate in these conversations. Two things that I'll ask is that everyone who presents comes in with an open heart and an open mind, because I will be presenting ideas and thoughts based on my experiences, but they will often challenge your perspective. So I want you to be open that there may be a different perspective or a different way to to look at certain topics. So that's all I ask, is that you come in with an open heart and an open mind. So that being said, we can go ahead and get started. So when we did the test show a couple weeks ago, I said that today I would be talking about why Halloween is of significant importance for two reasons. Okay, so let's go with the first reason. First reason is why you see this beautiful crown adorning my crown. So if you don't know already, if you don't follow me or my husband on social media, you may not know, but today is my birthday. I am a Halloween baby. So that is reason number one, at least for me, that Halloween serves as an important day. But when we relate it to mental health, brings me to the second reason that I see Halloween as an important day. So I mentioned briefly that I've been in the field for 14 years. So I got to spend um, maybe about 5 of those years in a working in a substance abuse program. We worked with pregnant women and mothers who with the chemical dependency or were addicted to drugs or alcohol. So during that time, which was a great um, a great experience for me. I met a lot of wonderful professionals. I learned a ton, and I met honestly some of the most amazing women and some of the most amazing, beautiful children you would ever want to meet. But during that time, we learned there were some things that we needed to look for. And we always had to be literally 5 steps ahead of our clients. So, what we picked up on, or we kind of discussed amongst us as professionals, is that Halloween served as the starting point of what you might consider traditionally the holiday season. Now, when we talk about holidays, most people just think Thanksgiving and Christmas and the New Year. And yes, those are your more well known or more traditionally known holidays. But the holiday season is a challenging season. It's challenging for most people. It was particularly challenging for our clients in the program, but Halloween to us marked the beginning. Halloween sometimes is a time when people maybe do some things maybe they shouldn't, but it just signals a change in seasons, a change in months, a change in stressors. A person can really get out of whack during the holiday season. So, again, with us saying we had to stay a few steps ahead, we knew that that was the unofficial time that we had to watch our clients more closely. But over time, what I've learned is a lot of the things that we put into place with our clients in addiction really applies to everyone if you really think about it. And we can get into some of that a little bit later. But Halloween, that October 31st into that November 1st, it's an important time. And we used to look at October 31st through about MLK Day because you have to take it past New Year's Eve and New Year's Day because there's still that those few first days of January, people are still trying to get it together, still having some challenges. But that was the window where we felt we had to keep a close eye on our people. So let's take that example and let's parlay, if you will, that example into 2020. So, what's different about 2020 in that time frame than almost any other year that we've experienced? Well, number one is 2020. So, we're in the middle of a pandemic, we're in the middle of a highly contagious virus, on top of the traditional challenges of Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's. But with the pandemic, our holidays may look quite different, and that may be challenging to many of us. So that's a significant contributor to us, watching people, watching ourselves. And by the way, in a few days, we have a hotly contested um, presidential election. And really, we have elections on every level coming up in a few days. So all of those events all fall within this window of the holiday season and all fall within this window of a time frame that can be especially challenging. Oh, I forgot something. Some of our kids are in face-to-face school, some of them are in virtual school. I know for me, my teenager, my high schooler, will be transitioning into face-to-face school uh, a little less than a week from now. Again, another level of complication that can add to the stressors, add to the distress, add to the concern that this time period will give really to anyone. So, what does all of this have to do with mental health? Okay, let's take a look at that. So, can I have image number one, please? All right. So, what you see right now is, in a nutshell, when we talk about mental health, this diagram basically explains what mental health is. So at the top, it says our thoughts. Our our thoughts, what we think affects how we feel and we act. Our emotions, how we feel, affects what we think and we do, and our behavior, what we do, affects how we think and we feel. So when you boil everything down related to mental health, it's basically about our thoughts, our emotions, and how they impact our behavior. And then our behavior, how that then impacts our thoughts and our emotions. And they play off of each other constantly. So when I say everybody has mental health, that's what I mean. Everybody has thoughts and emotions, and everybody allows those thoughts and emotions to impact behavior. That's what the human experience is about. So if all your, organs are working correctly, you're having you're having thoughts regardless. You're having emotions, whether we can recognize them or not, we're experiencing them, and they are impacting what we do. That's mental health. Boil down in the most succinct way. That's what it is. Next week, in next week's episode, we'll go further into this image and talk a little bit more about it. But for right now, I just want to touch upon it. So we'll go ahead and, like I said, talk more about it. You can remove image number 1, please. Thank you. So let's go a little bit more in depth about what this means for um, what this mental health image means as it relates to this time of year. So I'm sure we've all heard the saying, and we've heard it a lot in 2020, check on our strong friends. And I think in particular in 2020, it's changed to check on our friends. Let's not specify the strong friend. Let's check on our folks because it's been a particularly challenging period. But I'm even going to take that a step further and say, let's check on ourselves. How often do we check in with ourselves and check to see how we're doing, how we're feeling, how we're behaving? So, and then the thing about it is, when we do check ins, we need to look at different aspects of our lives, how we're doing, let's say on the job, how we're doing at home with our families, how we're doing as it relates to Corona, how we're doing based on the political climate. And then how is that impacting us from an external basis, what we can see with the naked eye? And then how is it impacting us from an internal basis? How is it affecting our mood? How is it affecting our thoughts? Because very often it is having an impact, whether it's boosting our mood or whether it's depressing or lowering our mood. Those are things that we need to consider. And here's the thing also, we've been conditioned so much to say when somebody says, how are you doing? I'm okay. I'm fine. Those aren't real answers. As a, I'm just sorry. As a mental health professional, if I'm talking to somebody, if I'm working with somebody and they tell me okay, it's not gonna fly. I'm gonna start asking more questions because that doesn't. What does that tell me? Really, nothing. So we also have to, when we're asked by somebody, is somebody that's trusted and genuinely wants to know, we need to be honest. We need to think about it before we really answer that question. And then even when we check in on ourselves, we need to be honest with ourselves. Very often we just mask our thoughts, mask our feeling, say it's okay, and we keep moving. But we rarely take time to tap into what we are really feeling. If we can't see a pain, then it's like a pain isn't legit. But often our internal pains, honestly, are more damaging and more painful and last much, much longer than our external pains. So let's go to image number 2, please. So when I say when we're checking in, so let's look at it. I said let's look at how we're doing from a job perspective. So let's look at that. So this image here shows basically 6 options that someone may have. So at the top with the little fish, it says the person is doing amazing. The next one with the leaf, they're doing pretty great. The butterfly, they're okay. The mushroom, they could be better. The looks like the sun coming up over the cloud. They're struggling a lot. And then the leaf, like the autumn leaf, the dried leaf, says need support. So if you're really being honest, when you're asked, how are you doing? How's everything going at work? That's a common question. Instead of just giving that traditional, I'm okay, think about this image here. Is it really amazing? Or are you struggling a lot? Or do you need support? Let's be ready to really consider that appropriate answer to that question and how that is on an external basis or an internal basis. So let's say work. Maybe I need support. Maybe my deadlines are too strict, or maybe I've been caring for a loved one and I've been out taking care of them and I have deadlines, stacked up and I can't make it. And for that reason, I need support. So that may be a more legitimate answer. So that's how that's working with you externally. Now, let's look at it internally. Because I'm not meeting my deadlines and because I've been out with a loved one, I may think my job is in jeopardy. I may be worried, and that may be causing me to have other stressors and strains. So, just even if you just look at it from a job perspective, the external versus the internal, we really need to be more honest about how we're feeling, what's going on with us, and what we're truly needing. So let's work to be more specific about how we are doing those check ins with others and those check ins with ourselves. So let's see, we can remove image two. Thank you. Let's go ahead and get image three. So at times, remember the first image I said that we have thoughts, emotions, and behaviors. Those make up our mental health status. Everyone has them. At times in our lives, we struggle even to attach an emotion to what we're experiencing. But really, it's crucial to be able to identify what emotion am I experiencing. Um, so here I have an image from Instagram of different facial expressions that kind of relate to how people may be feeling. So this is just an example of something somebody may use in therapy to kind of help a client connect with how they're experiencing life or how they're experiencing their emotions, or what emotions they're really experiencing. There are some emotions that are very common, and then there are some emotions that are a little bit harder to identify, but sometimes we benefit in being able to make that connection. Okay. In image three, let me check the comments real quickly. Let's see. Okay, let me see. I got some happy birthdays. Let me see. I never thought about okay not being a real answer, but that makes sense. Yeah, okay is just, well, I mean, what does it tell me? you know, it's but we've been conditioned that that's appropriate. It's in society, it's just an appropriate standard answer, but it really gives no insight. So anything more specific is provides a better insight into what you're experiencing. I'm a little down today, or I'm really excited about this show I've got to do. That gave me some information. Let's see. I'm really nervous about this show I got to do. that gave me some information. Let's see. I don't know. I've got a lot going on at home, and I'm back at deadlines. As a mental health professional, we do a lot of paperwork. so we have a lot of deadlines. We have a lot of things that stack up. So I might be a little stressed. I might be excited about the day, but I still may be experiencing a little bit of stress to go along with that. That gave that person a lot of information from that answer. Or you just, again, may just need to check in with yourself. I don't feel quite right. What's going on? Where am I? Am I stressed? What's got me stressed? What can I do about it? So I'm going also more into that mental health stuff. So I'm going to pump my brakes and back into that. Let's see. Okay. This year has been very stressful. It seems like the normal stresses have been magnified. Yes, it is a lot to manage on your own. Um, yes. So 2020 has been rough. I mean, we need to be real about that. It's been rough for a lot of different reasons, and many of us have responded differently. There have has been uptick in mental health crises, and things tend to lie on a continuum. I'll often talk about a continuum. Things are not typically just yes or no, particularly around mental health. Things can go from mild to moderate to severe. And that's what I mean with that continuum. So we've had some people respond to the stressors from a mild perspective, some from a moderate perspective, and some people have had a very severe response. So we've got to look at things in that way. Just like when we did the image, what was that image? Image number two. Could I see that again, please? Okay. So the doing amazing can be like on the higher end, and it's gradually, these pictures are showing it gradually going down. Amazing, pretty great, okay, could be better, struggling, needs support. Again, that response is on that continuum. Just think of a string, and the string going from let's say mild, moderate, and severe. So that pretty much a lot of things that we're going to talk about can be found on what we would call a continuum. But I just think of it as a string that goes from mild, moderate to severe. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, I've been conditioned to respond. Okay. Yeah, we all have. We all have. But if you think about it, it really doesn't give that information. It's like, and I'm guilty of it both as a child and as a parent. When you pick up your kid and you say, "How was your day at school?" It was fine. It was okay. Did that give you anything? Did that tell you anything about what happened with that child? Nope, nothing. But we're all conditioned to just have those responses. But you have to ask some different questions to get some different answers. And as a child or as a person, if you really want to share that information, try to steer away from the okays and fines. Tell somebody what you really want to tell them about the day. Be specific in that response, and it will help communication. Let's see, I can agree. Normal stresses have been magnified. Work for me, I would say could be better. Work for a lot of people could be better. Also, I would say a lot of us are working from home. A lot of us have begged to work from home. And a lot of us are finding that working from home is not as easy as we thought it was going to be. It comes with additional stressors that we just maybe would not have thought would have come into play. And that's not even considering many of us are serving as teachers when we've never taught before. So again, 2020 has had its own brand new bag of stressors. Okay. In addition to, think about this time frame I'm talking about, from now to about MLK Day, maybe a little bit longer, because you got to think about it. I forget what day. I think it's January 20th that whoever wins the election is sworn in again. So that's around MLK Day. I think MLK is day usually the 15th or 18th. That's around that day. So maybe this year we might even need to extend it to the end of January, because we don't know what the fallout, we don't know what changes are going to come from that. So January 21st, my producer just told me. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. We don't know what's going to happen. So again, that's still maybe extending for this year, 2020, 2021, that this time frame, this challenging time frame towards the end of the year, where I would extend it out a little bit more. So this is time that we need to be aware of how we're doing, how our loved ones are doing, how our family's doing. Particularly, let's say you've had maybe a loss of a loved one. The holidays are particularly difficult. This year, with that loss on top, of everything else, is a good time that we need to keep track of our people, keep track of our loved ones, and then most importantly, the one that typically we forget, keep track of ourselves. So, what I want to do, so can I get image number 4, please? So, what I want to challenge everyone to do is, as much as we check in on our social media accounts, be that Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, I don't know, TikTok, whatever else is going on, I want us to work to try to check in with ourselves as much as we check in, at least as much, excuse me, as we check in on our social media account. Check in with yourself, especially during this time period. How are you doing? How are you feeling? How are you interacting with others? Because this is a stressful time. It's going to probably continue to be a stressful time if we're going to be honest. So let's just ensure that we're taking care of ourselves as much as we can. Let's see. Let me check back onto the comments. Thank you. Yes, being a social person, I miss human interaction, working from home. But I also realize how intentional I have to be about doing something daily to deposit into myself. Look at you. Because working from home causes me to work more hours, which I see as more withdrawals going out. Absolutely. And we make we allow people to withdraw from us, job, family, whatever, but we very often don't make our deposits. So, and to me, from a mental health perspective, that goes into self-care, and that's definitely an important part of the whole mental health process. So that's pretty much it for me. I do want, like I said, I want to extend a challenge for us
Hold
to
on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on,
um,
hold on. So, hey, everybody, I'm the producer. I know I got my glasses on, but I want to bring in uh, great job by her first day. I want to say congratulations. But I also want to bring in her family to make sure we say happy birthday.
Well, that was a nice surprise. Thank
Birthday.
you, baby. I appreciate it.
Happy
Aw,
birthday to Jennifer.
that was a nice surprise. Thank y'all.
And
Oh,
congratulations on a great first show. So happy birthday. That's our daughter Nadia. Nia tried to come, but she couldn't get cut from work. So we just want
mhm.
to say that. So
Okay. Well,
great
thank you.
job.
I
Also want
appreciate
to make sure you get some of your comments. You know, Kim said happy birthday.
Yes,
Brenda
thank you.
said
Yes.
happy
And
birthday.
Takara
And
did. I missed Takara. I think she's in the
Takara,
middle. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Oh, I see Miriam.
she
Yeah,
says
there's
happy birthday as
Takara.
well. And so happy birthday. And now time to wrap up the show. So we'll leave you
Okay.
alone.
All right. So what was I doing? Before I was so rudely interrupted by Mr. Glaze. um So just extending kind of a challenge to everybody. You know, when we pick up that phone and we're checking in with social media, I would say maybe before we actually we're gonna grab it. We always mindlessly grab it. But we before we start looking, um, let's take time to check in with ourselves. Because are we picking it up because we're angry? Are we bored? Are we frustrated? Are we tired? Or do we just want to see what's on there? You know, check in with yourself. So check in with yourself at least just as much, preferably more than you're checking in with your social media accounts. Let me see. Lataya. Go back to Miss Lataya. Let's see. Can I click on it? I can't click on it. Okay, the holiday seasons had always been a regroup time for me. I always went back to my hometown and got loved on by my family. I won't be able to do that this year. Definitely a bummer. Common challenge, experience, and stressor that people are going to have this year, 2020, that they may have never experienced before. Wanting to go and maybe not being able to go, maybe due to finances or other things is different, but wanting to go and not being able to go because you're scared you're gonna infect your family, that's never happened before. And it's kind of weird. It's an experience that we've never had before. We don't even have any past experience to go back on for this and to say, okay, well, back in so and so, we did this. So this is all uncharted territory. So we really have to get through this together. We've got to find new ways to handle the stresses that this year is bringing us. Okay, so the last comment, when is the next show? So the next show will be next Saturday, which I believe should be November 7th at 3 p.m. So same time, same day of the week, same network on the OTB Media Network. So if there are no other comments, I'd like to thank everybody for stopping by. I'd like to thank you guys for listening. I hope to see you and connect with you again next week. And you can follow me at I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all under the title Becoming Your Best. Just Becoming Your Best Counseling, I believe it is. And on Twitter, instead of your being YOUR, it's UR. Just because I didn't have enough, they don't allow so many characters. But I'm on social media. And also thank you, Brenda. Brenda said she enjoyed it. Thank you. I also do have a private practice under the same name, Becoming Your Best Counseling Services. So that information can be identified through my um, Facebook presence. So with that being said, I want to thank everybody. Thank you for coming and hope you enjoyed. Please feel free to leave a comment on the replays. If there's a topic you'd like to discuss, let me know. And I look forward to speaking with you all later. Take care. Goodbye.